The envelope looks familiar before you even open it. Same logo, same layout, same polite language that pretends nothing has changed. You stand near the kitchen counter, one hand holding the paper, the other resting against the edge of the sink. The house is quiet, no alerts, no emergencies, nothing that would explain what you're about to read. The number is higher again, not dramatically, not enough to shock, just enough to register, just enough to make you blink once and reread the line to be sure it isn't a mistake. You trace the digits with your eyes, comparing them to last year, then the year before that. The increase isn't large, but it's consistent, steady, predictable in a way that feels unsettling. You think back over the year. No accidents, no tickets, no claims, no late payments. Nothing happened. At least nothing you can point to. You fold the paper once, then unfold it, as if that might change something. The language is neutral, almost friendly. It thanks you for being a valued customer. It explains that your coverage continues uninterrupted. It avoids explaining why the price moved at all. You place the notice down and feel the small weight of irritation settle in your chest. Not anger, something quieter. A sense that a decision has already been made somewhere else, and you're only being informed after the fact. The day continues. You pay the bill because you always do. The payment goes through without friction. The moment passes, but the number lingers, sitting in the back of your mind longer than it should. Nothing happened, and yet you're paying more. If you pause and actually think about it, the increases form a line, a slow climb that has nothing to do with events. You remember previous renewals that felt exactly the same. A few dollars more here, another adjustment there, always justifiable in theory, never explained in practice. You start to recognize the rhythm. Renewal arrives, price rises, you hesitate briefly, you pay. Life moves on. The pattern doesn't announce itself loudly. It hides inside normalcy. Insurance is something you're used to paying for. It's background noise, a monthly or annual expense that rarely demands attention unless something goes wrong. But here, something is happening without an incident to anchor it. The cost moves even when nothing triggers it. No moment you can point to. No clear cause and effect. You scroll through old emails, checking past notices. The increases are there, quietly stacked over time, each one small enough to dismiss on its own. Together, they form a slope. Your body reacts before your thoughts do. A slight tightening in your shoulders. A pause in your breathing as the realization takes shape. This isn't random, it's systematic. You begin to sense that the price isn't responding to you at all. It's responding to something else, something broader, something you're inside, whether you like it or not. The insurance feels personal. Your car, your health, your home, your name on the policy. But the pricing doesn't behave like it's watching you. It behaves like it's watching a crowd, and you're somewhere inside it. This isn't about Progressive. It's about a rule: dynamic risk pooling. Insurance pricing doesn't wait for something to happen to you. It moves ahead of events. It watches patterns, clusters, probabilities. It looks outward, not inward. Your premium isn't just a reflection of your record. It's shaped by where you live, who lives near you, how often claims happen in your area, what behaviors are statistically associated with higher payouts. Some of these signals are visible, most are not. The model doesn't need you to crash a car or file a claim. It adjusts preemptively, pulling information from thousands, sometimes millions, of similar policies. Age groups, zip codes, driving patterns, health trends, commuting density. You feel the result, not the calculation. The system pools risk across people who share characteristics, not choices. When costs rise in the pool, the water level rises for everyone inside it, even those who stayed still. You think of it like standing on a platform that slowly lifts without warning. There's no announcement, no lever you touched. You just notice that the floor is higher than it used to be. The pricing logic doesn't ask whether this feels fair. It only asks whether the aggregate risk has shifted. Individual behavior becomes a weak signal compared to group-level data. And once the adjustment happens, It doesn't reverse easily. The system prefers stability, smooth margins, predictable revenue. Small increases spread widely are easier to absorb than sudden jumps tied to specific events. So the number moves, quietly, reliably, away from anything you did. You start to see it elsewhere. Auto insurance behaves this way. So does health insurance. Different language, same mechanism. Costs rise even in calm years. Premiums adjust based on broader signals, population health trends, treatment costs, regional data. The feeling is the same across contexts. You are careful. You follow the rules. You avoid problems. And yet the price continues to drift upward. The system isn't broken. It's functioning as designed. It absorbs uncertainty by distributing it. It smooths volatility by spreading cost increases thinly across many people, rather than tying them tightly to individual events. From the inside, it feels personal. From the outside, it's statistical. You begin to sense the disconnect. The way responsibility and pricing have been separated. Your behavior matters less than the behavior of the pool you've been placed into. The increase on the page stops feeling like a mistake. It starts feeling inevitable, not because something happened, but because enough other things happened somewhere else to someone else, and the system adjusted. The pressure doesn't arrive all at once. It accumulates quietly, year after year, without drama. Each renewal adds a little more weight, not enough to demand a phone call, not enough to justify switching, not enough to feel like a crisis. You tell yourself it's normal. Prices rise. Everything gets more expensive. This is just another bill adjusting with the times. But the adjustments don't align with moments in your life. They don't follow accidents, illnesses, or mistakes. They continue through years of calm, through routine, through uneventful stretches where nothing stands out at all. The system doesn't wait for your story to change. It moves independently, following a curve you can't see. The cost increases arrive on schedule, not in response to events. You notice how little space there is to respond. The renewal window is short. Coverage lapses are risky. Shopping around feels time-consuming and uncertain. The options narrow before you even engage with them. So you stay, you absorb. You adjust your budget slightly and move on. The pressure builds not because the increases are aggressive, but because they are consistent. The repetition itself becomes the force. A slow squeeze that doesn't trigger alarms, only resignation. After a while, the higher price stops feeling new. The number on the page becomes the new baseline. Last year's cost fades from memory. The increase blends into your understanding of what insurance simply costs now. You stop comparing. You stop expecting stability. The idea that premiums might stay flat begins to feel unrealistic, almost naive. Conversations with others reinforce it. Friends mention their own increases casually. Co-workers shrug when the topic comes up. No one is surprised anymore. The shared experience confirms the pattern. This is how normalization works. Not through explanation, but through repetition. When everyone inside the pool feels the same drift, it stops feeling like a problem worth questioning. The system benefits from this quiet acceptance. The adjustments become background noise. The cause no longer matters as much as the expectation that the number will rise again next time. You don't feel targeted. You feel included. Included in a trend that no one controls individually. The price becomes less about protection and more about participation. Being inside the pool means moving with it, whether you understand the currents or not. At some point, a subtle recognition settles in. The increases aren't reacting to your life. They're reacting to patterns that include you, but don't center you. Your policy isn't priced as a reflection of who you are, but as a data point among many. The old assumption that careful behavior would stabilize cost starts to weaken, not collapse, just loosen. You realize that personal responsibility and personal pricing have drifted apart. The system isn't punishing you. It's smoothing risk across time and people. Your calm year doesn't lower the water level. It simply prevents it from rising faster. This understanding doesn't arrive with relief. It arrives with clarity. A sense that the logic behind the number has always been elsewhere, operating at a scale too large to feel human. You were looking for a reason tied to action. What you were experiencing was a rule tied to aggregation. The belief shifts quietly, not from trust to distrust, but from personalization to structure. The cost was never meant to stay still. The next renewal will likely look the same. A familiar envelope, a polite message, another incremental increase without an event to anchor it. The system will continue to adjust, pooling risk, stabilizing margins, redistributing cost. From the inside, it will still feel personal. From above, it will remain statistical. The price will move not because something happened to you, but because enough signals moved elsewhere to justify it. Dynamic risk pooling.